Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the playthrough of Hollow Knight. This will be episode 2, and we're probably going to be beating the Hollow Knight today. I might give like a spoiler warning, because I wanted to talk about this show that I watched recently. So if you haven't seen Domestic Girlfriend, I'd recommend you go and watch it before watching this video. So, I was recently watching this show, and honestly, I think it would be an 8 out of 10. If there were some glaring problems I saw with the show, mostly the fact that the main character has what I like to call Subaru syndrome. For those who haven't seen the show ReZero, or any of the numerous amounts of memes about it. Well, Subaru syndrome is basically when you are that main character and there's this one girl, and despite the fact that you don't see the girl at the show, or that she's not a very good main heroine, you pretty much just spend your entire time looking for her. Hello there. Come down to explore these beautiful old rooms, don't mind me. I have a fondness for exploring myself. Getting lost and finding our way again is a pleasure like no other. How exquisitely lucky you and I. I'm a cartographer by trade, and I'm working on mapping this area right now. Would you like to buy a copy of my work so far? Why not, cartographer? Okay. And that can be a useful thing, but it alone won't show you where you are. If you've not the head for directions, I suggest purchasing a compass from my wife, Isolde. She's now opening a new map shop in Dirtmouth, selling all sorts of useful things to wanderers like yourself. She'll even sell some of my old maps from time to time. I pop back to her whenever I finish mapping an area. She's always so excited to see me. And as I was saying, yeah, he's got Subaru syndrome. ReZero, Subaru, I love a million. I think I said all that I need to. But for the non-anime fans, yeah, he pretty much doesn't see this character. Usually she's not a very good character, and then she says she loves him at the end. But come on, Rem or Beatrice were right there. Honestly, Rem was set up to be the perfect main heroine for that show, and then Emilia comes along. But yeah. Well, anyway, him and his the main character's domestic girlfriend has noticed the sensei since the beginning of time apparently, and hijinks ensues. But they set up this perfect main heroine in the form of Rui. Now Rui, such a better character in every way, and you spend the entire show just rooting for her. Honestly, she's just such a good character. But, as I've suggested numerous times so far, through the words I've been saying, he's all about the soundtrack. Luckily though, okay, and I was very concerned that they were going to pull what I call an Orino, where they spent probably the majority of the show building up to one thing happening, and then proceeding to not do that thing, which I was actually pretty happy with in this one, because well, I mean, it's been several episodes building up the let's see, his name is, I think it's Haru. So the Haru and Natsuo, I think his name is Natsuo, relationship chain, and you don't get any of the or much Rui chain. Rui just you just feel bad for her because the guy's like stringing her along this entire time, and you know, it really feels bad, man. You know, I think that's all I gotta say. Because they do an Ori emo sort of where it's not really Ori emo. It's more like the main character chooses the better path, not of his own volition, but because the first main heroine can't see him anymore. The teacher can't see him anymore, and Rui is actually, you know, like, is actually just a lovable character, and you know, she takes charge and is like, you know what, I'm not holding back anymore. You know, I'm just gonna go straight for it, and it had a pretty good ending. I would say that if it didn't end the way I was expecting it to, with him getting with the sensei and it just staying that way, I probably would have rated the show a 5 out of 10, you know, but it ended well, so I rated it 8 out of 10. Yeah. And the reason why is less to do with well, because I was or emo, okay, if everyone knows that show, because it's the Moko show. I feel like everyone knows this by this point. But it does the terrible ending thing. But because they build up this entire show with the best romance first, and then they ruin it by having the main character, you know, go for the stepsister who's lived with his entire life, and honestly wasn't nearly as interesting as any of these other characters. Because the best wife who cut on that show in Horima, you know, I think she was like a writer, he met her, he dated her for like the entire second half season, all the way up to the last 2 episodes, and then he goes for whatever her name is. I was so distraught at the ending of Oriyuno, I blanked her name from my mind. It probably is Oriyuno, but in the end, but this one didn't do an Oreo, and that made me very, very happy. They ended up doing the best trophy in the end. And that made me very happy. And the main character really does have that Super syndrome. You know, no matter what he's doing, all I gotta do is the exact same thing. It's like, come on, man, get a personality trait other than, you know, writing and loving this chick. Like, those were his only 2 personality traits, in my opinion. And some of them just like, please do something other than whine or complain about this chick not being here. You wield your nail like a club. MC, how much deeper do we have to go? Who are you? I see, this old village. What a strange dream to have led me down here. If you hadn't found me, I don't think I would have ever awoken. I'm sly. Usually, I live an uneventful life up in Dirtmouth. The air in these rooms doesn't agree with me, so I'd best be getting back. If you return above, come and see me. I'm probably the friendliest face left there, and I can thank you properly for your good deed. But yeah, I was on with Domestic Girlfriend, and the reasons that I gave an 8 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10. The reason I gave Domestic Girlfriend a point off is, let's see if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, Subaru lost an entire point right there. Just, I don't remember the main character's name despite having watched the entire thing yesterday. And I think I said it earlier in the show, I'm already blanked out. I just gonna remember him as Subaru from now on. He honorary gets the name Subaru due to his only personality traits being, I am a Subaru ripoff, and I love him with it. But yeah, there's just tons of those characters that these days that are either Subaru ripoffs or, you know, they don't have any personality traits besides a one-note personality. And that one note is often screw you on the main character. Which is why with shows these days, like, what's it called? World's Finest Assassin, and other stuff like that. We're getting some decent shows coming out now. No one is really all that interested in the shows that put a mark on the world. And this one, I liked how it covered some pretty intense topics. You know, like, for example, the stepsister relationship thing. Where do we draw the line? When is it not okay? I think that is what needs to be covered in the show. I think they didn't tackle it well, in my opinion. I mean, it just felt more like a romance. They could have done more. They could have done better. And in all honesty, there were characters there that really felt for mostly the sensei with how she was just kind of shoved into the story. There wasn't really any reason for her to be there, since the fact that she was the main heroine's bigger sister, or older sister. And I think love for her is the most part, because she pretty much does nothing for him the entire show until the end, and she basically is the Amelia of the show. She is the least likable of all the characters, and she just causes all sorts of problems in the end. Yeah. Honestly, I knew exactly who I wanted the main character to get with. I knew if he didn't get with her, I knew who else I wanted to get with. Basically, my ranking list was, for any of us that 100% seen the show, the main character, my first pick would have been Rude. And I almost didn't want her to get with him, because he was such an asshole of a character. But that was my first ship. My next ship was, I know what you're going to think, this is a ridiculous ship. My next ship was the main character with that romance dude, the author, who ran the literature book. Because, let's be honest, no one would have minded if that took the BC Boy romance route. Because, honestly, the characters in the show were really well designed. I'll give you that. The only ones who probably could have done some better design would have been the MC and the sensei. MC could have used a lot more. Do you get what I want you to be? Get up there. I mean, he would have been much better in a place that, I think if he had any personality traits other than I like to write romance novels about my life, and I love Amelia, then he would have just been such a more enjoyable character, and I probably would have been able to relate with him, right? All the supporting cast behind him was what made him as a character, and he is nothing without Fumiya, and who's his best friend, and what's his name? He's nothing without Fumiya. He's nothing without. Can't think of the name. Marie. He's nothing without. He's nothing without those characters. Though that's not saying I dislike the character. I mean, he wasn't relatable, and he wasn't the greatest main character. But at least he wasn't the main girlfriend, who was single-handedly the reason I dropped the show at episode 2. Greetings, little one. It's been ages since I last heard the ringing of the station bell. It echoed down the stagways and called me to you. I've grown stiff and tired over these many years, and I've forgotten much, but the sound of the bell will always call me back. These stagways stretch the depths of hollowness. If you want to travel them, hail me from the platform. I will take you where you need to go. But yeah, that's really how I felt about the characters, and I don't think there's anything I could have done to make it different. I think we're gonna end the episode there. I know we didn't fight any of the bosses, we mostly walked around completing the area, but we've got, in the next episode, we're gonna have to beat the boss. We're gonna have to beat the tutorial room afterward, and then we're gonna start green fields or whatever it's called. Can't remember off the top of my head. And honestly, I feel it playing with it's already going to take 2 episodes all to itself, because it's such a big area. And I gotta go right now, so we'll have to save that for next episode. But anyway, I've been the East Sky King, and if you like, comment, subscribe, ring that little bell, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day.